Hi everyone, I thought it might be useful to have a short video on views in the desktop or Windows version of CollectionsIndex Plus. So views allow you to decide what sections and what fields you see. They streamline the edit form and they also affect what you see when viewing a record and in your advanced search form. They aren't a replacement for permissions because users can change between views very easily, but they are there to streamline your work. So if you are ever looking at a record and you can't see the field that you want or that you think should be there, just double check that you're in the correct view. And if in doubt, then select the full view to be able to see all available sections and fields. So views are really useful for three main reasons. You can use them for different types of users, so you could set up a volunteer view and then cut down what your volunteers are seeing and editing using that view, just to those few fields that they need to work on. You can use views for different types of collections. So in Spectrum and in CollectionsIndex Plus, there are, for example, field collection fields that are mainly useful for natural history and archaeological objects and collections. So it may be that you don't want to have to scroll past that section and those fields or engage with those fields if you're working on, for example, costume or fine art. And in that way you could create views for your different types of collections. So you could create a costume and textile view or an archaeology view and use those for your different types of records. And the third way that views can be really helpful is in the different types of tasks that you're doing. So if you're just running a condition check task, or you're just wanting to look at valuations, you can again streamline your view just to the relevant bits of information and then get to edit those fields more efficiently and more quickly. Because views are so easy to switch between and so quick to create, you can use these as and when you need them, and they can be used quite ephemerally, and you can just delete them when you're done with the task. So let's have a look at how to create views. So you go to your Views menu and then select View Manager, or you can use the Control-M shortcut here. And when you click on View Manager, you'll get a pop-up and you can select the record type you want to create the view for. So you have the option to create a view for many of your different record types, but we'll just stick with your object records for now. You'll see your full view here with all of your sections and fields there. And then you can right click here in this top grey bar on the right hand side and click Create New View here. So let's do an example. Volunteer view here, and then I click Return on my keyboard to create my view. And then from the left-hand side, with all of my fields and sections, I can drag and drop. So when I see the little plus icon, I can drop my section and it will move that whole section across for me. So let's say I want my parts information, my images, and then from my identification tab, I maybe don't want all of these fields. So I can drag across the whole section, and then select the different fields and remove the fields that I don't need. Like that. Then I can also, if I don't want my whole description section, but I just want a couple fields from it, I can drag individual fields as well. So I can pick up my colour field and drag it and say that I want it within my identification section. So again, I need to see my little plus icon before I drop my field, and then it will sit there within my identification section. And maybe I also want dimensions within there as well. But I want it to sit below brief description, so I can just drop it there. Sorry, I can pick it up and drop it there. There we go. There we go. So you can move those fields around as well and decide the order that you see them in. Let's have a look at production. So let's say we drag that whole field across. We can also rename sections. So I can right click on my section and I can remove this whole section, or I can rename this section. So I can say rename section and say production and association. There, and click enter on my keyboard again, and that's been renamed. And then I can take out fields that I don't want. Let's do that. Sorry. So you have to click on the field name to remove it. There. And then let's say that I also want, let's do associated person. And I can put that below my production person and associated organisation. I can put that there. I can also create new sections. So if I just right click on my white space here, I can click create new section, and I can have, let's say, condition check here. And then I can select fields from, or groups of fields from my condition and conservation sections, like so. And then if I don't want any of these other fields, I can just leave them out. Let's just say that I want my workflow and access, and again I only want those two fields. So once I'm done creating my sections and creating my view, I can decide whether I want this view to be public or private. So my view at the moment is private, so it's just for me, but if I want my volunteers to be able to see it as well, I can untick that box and then everyone can see it. So with views, either everyone with access to the system can see that view and use that view, or just you. You can't select particular users to be able to view that view. And then when I'm done, I can click Save Changes, which is in the bottom left here. And it will automatically set my view to my new view. And then if I open up one of my object records, we'll see that it doesn't affect the inventory tab, but it affects the catalogue tab. So now you can see all of my sections, and then my fields that are completed within these sections. And then if I open up my edit form, we can see those fields in the order that I chose to see them in. So that is how you create a new view. To move between views, you just go to your Views menu, hover over the type of record that you want to change your view for, and then select a different view instead. And you'll see that that changes the sections and the fields that are available in your view and edit form, as well as your search form. So you can change your view at any time. As ever, if you have any questions, do let us know. I'll include the website address, which will have our contact information on it, in the description for this video.